I don't think that the story of Lot's wife is saying, don't look back at the past at all. I think the story of Lot's wife is saying, don't look back at a past that you've been delivered from as if you still want it. First of all, that's super rude. If you've been given an alternative that's much better than what you've been in before, or you've been afforded the opportunity to escape or get out of something that was not good for you, then looking back longingly at that thing, that's a sort of self-punishment. You're turning yourself into a pillar of salt. There's something about you that isn't ready to not still be in suffering. Lot and his wife, which she doesn't even have a name. Let's not talk about the problematic nature of this story and how this story does not even pass the Bechdel test, but whatever. Lot's wife, what's her name? Barbara? Barbara. Let's call her Barbara. So Barb's. So Lot's wife, Barbara, really, she doesn't really have a lot going on in the story before the point that they're fleeing this situation. And let's not call it a situation. Let's call it what it is. It's trash. It is literally Sodom and Gomorrah that they are leaving. And Sodom and Gomorrah, even if you don't know the Bible, you hear that and you know, oh, this is a very bad place to be in. This is not the good part of town. This is a place where lawlessness exists. It's the purge every day, all day. And things are just out of control. It's just been a terrible, terrible time. And it's been getting rougher and rougher. But finally, God has somehow given them an escape, and he's going to burn this whole thing to the ground. He's taking the trash out, and he's like, look, I don't want you guys to get caught up on trash removal day. So I'm going to give you an out, okay? I need you to be out of the city at this time. And just one thing I'm going to ask, once you leave, don't look back, all right? That's the only thing I ask. You don't have to pay me for gas. You don't have to worry about anything. I got you. There's toiletries at the new spot. You're going to love it. I only ask as an agreement that you do not look back once you leave. Barbara, though, maybe it wasn't that she was like, oh, I'm so sorry to leave it. Barbara is really into watching dumpster fires. She loves reality TV. That was her life. She dealt with the drama of Sodom and Gomorrah by losing herself into this dumpster fire alternative reality. And then when she finally gets to escape this sort of terrible place she's been in, she actually looks back. If you were in a mindset in a certain place, you physically left the place, but your mind is still in that place. It's the same thing as looking back longingly. Just let Barbara be a lesson to you that once you've been delivered from something, whether that be a relationship that wasn't healthy or a habit that wasn't healthy or a job that was toxic or any sort of situation, once you've been delivered, the natural urge is to want to look back at that thing, to either return to that mindset or to actually want to return to the thing itself. That is a natural emotional state that could happen. And obviously, it's natural enough that God made a bargain. He's like, oh, that's a price that's going to be hard for you to pay. It doesn't seem like a big thing to ask, but it's going to be hard. And I think within this Bible story is the lesson that if you really want to experience change, if you want to move or shift to a place in your life that is delivering you from an unsavory or toxic state of events or unhealthy situation, then you're going to have to keep your eye focused on the future instead of on the past. Naturally, those emotions are going to come up that make you want to go back into the past ways. But if you're not going to be stuck, because she gets turned into a pillar of salt and she can't go anywhere because she looks back. She doesn't actually make it out. Everybody else makes it out. She doesn't actually make it out. I mean, she makes it out a little bit, but after that, she's just stuck in the desert. She doesn't get to the spot with the toiletries. If you don't actually make that shift and you keep looking back, you're going to get stuck. So remain focused on the future. And there are a number of ways to do that. And the best way to do that is to really be all about focusing on your future story. If you're creating that story, so focused on getting that in order, then there's less and less space to be looking back or trying to go back to the dumpster fire that you were delivered from. Now, the other hand is when it makes sense to look back, when it makes sense to go back into that thing, it's not to go back to dwell in it. You're not going to live there, but you're going to rewrite something or to detangle something, because what you're experiencing is I'm not stuck so much. I haven't turned into a pillar of salt so much as I keep running in circles. Every time I think I'm moving forward, I actually end right back in the same spot. Or every time I think I'm moving forward, I end up tripping and falling at the exact same spot or on the exact same rock. Why do I keep tripping and falling over this? That's a sign that, yeah, maybe you need to go back and rethink some things or rewrite some things or detangle something so that you don't keep tripping over it. So there's a time and a place to look back, and there's a time and a place to move forward. And you have to understand what the signal is to let you know which time it is. If you've left something that was dangerous and harmful and you don't have any scars or very few scars, or there's nothing preventing you from moving forward based off of that, then you don't need to look back. If you left something behind or you've moved on from something in your past, but it keeps circling back or something similar to it or the same thing or the same type of thing keeps showing up when it's now a pattern that you're seeing over and over again, then yeah, that's a sign that, yeah, you need to go back and look at that. You need to go rewrite it. The record is skipping and you need to smooth that thing out. I just wanted to make sure that there was a distinction, because there is sometimes where you're dwelling in the past that no longer really has anything for you, because what you're actually dwelling in is your imagination. You're dwelling in an imagined version of that thing that is not real now and probably wasn't real then. And so there's a better use of your imagination. Instead of dwelling in the fantasy of that thing, use your imagination to rewrite a new thing or to rewrite that old thing. That's a better use of your imagination. But I think those people who take the same approach to all things in their past, to say everything is behind me, everything is the rearview mirror, those are the people who may be progressing in a lot of areas in their lives, but there's these one or two areas that they're absolutely stuck in. They cannot get beyond this. It could be their relationship, it could be their work, it could be their family experience, but there's something there that they keep getting triggered by, they keep tripping up on, that keeps bringing them down from a space or a place that they actually want to be living in. And that's when you need to go back and figure it out.